Assalamualaikum wangu.
So, hello and welcome to Conversations with Esther. Our guest is in the house, Ken Monyancho. And as always, we'll begin with a word of prayer. Let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you this evening for your goodness and faithfulness. We thank you, Lord, for the session that is ahead of us. We thank you for Ken that is going to speak to us. We pray that you give him the words to speak and the wisdom. We pray for everyone that will join us, bless them, and we pray that their lives will be changed from the lessons that we learned today. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Welcome, welcome. Allow me to introduce our speaker. I want to give him a lot of time today, so I will not go into so much details, but we have Ken Monyancho, an ordained and a marketplace minister with over 20 years experience in both the public and private sector. He has extensive experience in research, project management, training and capacity building, pension administration. And Ken, when I see this, I think we need to do this one as a separate one, and personal financial management. He is a certified City and Guilds International trainer and public speaker. Ken Monyancho is also a best-selling author of How to Save Money for Investments and How to Invest in the Financial Markets. I'm sure he will tell us more about that as we go on. A motivational speaker and a financial coach. He has been involved in several talk shows in the media on personal finance. He is a founder, director, or partner of Management Today and Wealth Financial Services, a leading pension provider in the industry. He holds a master degree of administration in finance, bachelor degree in both economics and statistics. He is currently a commissioner in the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. He is married to Dr. Rachel Monyancho and have 2 daughters and 2 sons-in-law between them. Welcome, Ken. Ken is a good friend of mine. I think as we go on, I need to say Ken is a good friend of mine and my spiritual father. I need to say that with all respect. Karibu sana. Karibu sana. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Much appreciated. I'm happy to support and to be able to give back to society. There's nothing better to give. Winston Churchill said, he said that we make a life by what we give. All right, by what we give. That's how you make life. It's not by what you get out of life. And thank you for the introduction. For the other distinguished members, thank you very much for joining. My journey on the financial path began in when I was 41. Maybe that's easier to define. 2000 and some time there. I was just turning 41. I moved from government, and I'd gone to Nairobi Securities Exchange. That's the point when I saw people making money, and I said, am I going to make money fast and then tell people how to make money, or do I make money as I tell people how to make money? I think it was better the second one. I will tell you that it's possible, but I'll be ahead of you anyway, because I'll be moving ahead. Because many people, once they hear the first time, they do nothing about it. Second time, they think about it, but no action. Third time, they are wondering, should we start now or not? And that time could be 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line. So in 5 years, I would have gone very far, because I am preaching or I'm teaching what I found was convincing it was possible. It's possible to make money through the stock market. It's possible to make money through the capital markets. But the problem was there was no information available. So at 41, that's when I began saving. That's when I made sense in terms of setting goals, personal finance, starting to save 10% every month or out of every income I was getting. And that has made a big difference in my life. And that's why the two books that Esther talked about, I intended to write How to Invest as my first book. But because everybody was asking me, where do I get the money to invest? I decided to write a first book called How to Save Money for Investments. You can mobilize money from saving, and therefore, after saving, you can move on to then investing. So today, I have about 30 or so minutes. I think it's about 30 to 35 minutes to be able to share a bit about some of the aspects of personal finance. Personal finance is big, but all the aspects of personal finance are important. Knowledge is important. Applied knowledge is better, because when you apply that knowledge, then you are able to learn some experiences. So just knowing is not sufficient. We need to find out whether that knowledge can actually help us in what we do. So what I'm going to share today is one of the very fundamentals of your own personal finance. In fact, it's such an important tool that you realize that if your plan or your budgeting tool is not robust, you are highly likely to be having financial issues, and maybe from a bigger picture, more personal finance items that is going to be a problem into the future. So that's why it's important that we think about, or we look at the issue of budgeting, getting your budget on track. Now, maybe today, okay, because of time, I was going to ask you to just respond to a question. What do you understand when you hear the word budget? Of course, from experience, when you hear budget, I think the first thing that comes to your mind probably is don't spend, right? Do you have a budget? That means you will not spend until it is in your budget. That's the kind of interpretation sometimes we may give to the word budget. So whenever you want to go to the shop and you want to buy something, you tell someone, hakuna budget. Hiyo budget hatuna, But is that what a budget is? And then we look at just a slide on our goals, how we can think about goals. We look at a slide that looks at the composition of a budget. Then I look at a few slides on the benefits. The benefits of having a budget. And then I'll conclude by proposing how you can actually be able to start off in doing your own budget. All right. So if you have any questions, kindly you can start. Either you can post them, and towards the end, 15 minutes before, if there are any questions, I'll respond. If there are no questions, then I'll move on. I have a bonus slide on how you can be able to get yourself into financial stability, some do's and some don'ts that can help you as you move in that direction. All right. Now, what's a budget? I've given an answer here. My original slides have got animation. I don't know what happened to this one. There is no animation, so you'll be reading everything. And my apologies in advance. Some of the slides they look very congested, but that wasn't the intention. The intention was to have what we call animations, one point at a time. So kindly, you'll have to bear with me. I didn't know how this technology has decided that it's not going to do what I thought. Now, if somebody gave you money and told you to spend, I know that the feeling of spending is better than the feeling of not spending. I feel better when you have money in your pocket. Somebody approaches you, says, I have an issue. I just pull out from my pocket. Like this morning, I was just standing on the street, Taifa Road. Some lady just approached me. and told me, I have a big problem. I said, what is it? I'm looking for a job. I'm like, okay. Do I look like I can give a job? I was wearing a t-shirt. I've just come from my haircut, standing out there, jean trouser, my t-shirt. I like looking very simple. People, I don't want people to keep on confusing me. So I'm a very simple person. So we talked, and she said, I have my small girl, anaenda shule lakini sijapata pesa ya kutosha. I have a job, blah, 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 blah. I talked to her. I realized she was genuine. I just got in my pocket and I gave her some money. Please, maybe that can help you contribute towards school fees. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I can give you a job, but I can give you a few tips what you can do with yourself. And I gave her a few tips and she left off. But what I'm saying is that it feels good that you can have a few shillings that you can spare to give someone. Okay, and so giving for me is it's a good filler. I think it's better than spending. Spending, I have a problem even buying anything. I go to the shop, I just get more confused. I go back. I said now I wanted to buy a pair of shoes. I've taken 15 minutes to pick. I can't pick. I forget it. I'll come another time. Okay. So spending, sometimes I ask myself many questions. There's one time I got a very nice pair of shoes. Whoa, very nice. In fact, I didn't even ask how much it cost. I just went there. I said, I'm going for, I do a bit of marathon and I want a very good shoe. So I wore this one. No, what this one? No, not the next one. Then I got one. A nice fitting shoe. Whoa, I just took a jog in the shop. I told the lady, that is the shoe that I want. How much is it? The price, my friend. I said, okay, I know I can buy it, but do I want to spend that money on that shoe? The shoe was costing 30,000 shillings. Sports shoe. I told the people, what's wrong with this shoe? Why is it 30,000 bob? I said, exactly the reason why you want it. Now, I would have bought it. Not that I don't have that money, but I asked myself, is it worth it? Really, to spend 30,000 on a shoe? No, forget it. Let me trust God. I can get another shoe some other place. But the feeling of spending is always better than the feeling of not spending. But budget is not about not spending. Budget is about the money that I have. That is the sources of all your income. Is a plan that shows where you're getting the money from and how that money is going to be spent. So I call this a spending plan for me. So if you hear me switching words between budget and spending plan, is because I prefer spending plan. When I tell you where's your spending plan, I'm sure you'll be more motivated to start spending because you feel better spending than when you're not spending. All right. So financial goals. Just asking you, how many of you have financial goals? And can I dare say, any financial goal that you like to meet, you will not avoid a budget. If you want to plan for retirement, you want to plan for school fees, you want to plan for holiday, you want to plan anything, whatever financial goal you have, you want to grow your net worth from, let's say, 10 million to 20 million, there must be a budget. There must be a plan of how to get there. And that's why I said the budget is a very powerful tool that can help you achieve your financial goals. And of course, when you're looking at your financial goals, you ask yourself, where are you today? Where am I? Okay. What am I earning? Where is my investment like? Where is my savings like? How do I spend? What am I spending? Where am I? Am I happy with where I am? Then you can ask yourself, but where do I want to go? Right? Where do I want to go? I want to go to 30 million, 40 million. I want to go to 10,000. I want to go wherever. I want to go on holiday every year. All those are financial goals. They require you to have a very robust budget. How do I get there? There are many strategies you can use to get there, but the question you are telling yourself is that I must have a budget. I must have a spending plan. Like every year when it comes to December, I need to have a spending plan on how I'm going to spend my money. Do I spend December money in January or spend my December money in December? Then January I have a problem. It's all about budgeting and it's all about planning. Okay. Move on to a characteristic of a simple budget. I just did this to show you that I may mention it a bit later on, but just here to let you know that in a budget, you can talk of two columns, generally two columns, your source of income and where it goes. But I've made it three because in a budget, you will have the sources of income, you'll have fixed costs, and you'll have variable costs. Where sources of income could be either employment, could be business. That means your business pays you some profit. You have a matatu that pays you, or an Uber that you tell the Uber person, kila jioni, at least I want my 1,000. So that is the 1,000 that you put in here as business income. It could be farming. You have some tea that you get money every 6 months or every year. Ya chai, money avocado umepanda, whatever you've planted. It's included here, or it could be moonlighting, part-time lecturing, or you could be doing locums. You include all the total revenue or income here. And then in your fixed costs, there are costs that are fixed every month. Rent, mortgage, if you're a Christian, tithe, even if you're not one, you should think of giving aside, at least giving away some money every month. Is very important to learn to give away. If you learn to give away, you reduce, what is it called? You deal with the sickness of hoarding or disease of hoarding by giving. Saving for me, I advise all my listeners, at least 10% of your income must be saved. 10% of that income is what you can use to do your investments and planning into the future. Education fees are generally fixed within a year or so, taxes, loans, and so forth. But we have variable costs that change regularly. Excuse that lack of a spelling. It's supposed to be groceries and supplies. Grooming, you can do once a month or once every 2 months, or eating out, you can even stop if you don't want to eat out. Appliances, you may decide I don't want to buy. You want to keep on buying radios or what do you call it, iron box. Every other month you're buying something different. Recreation is variable, vacation is variable, travel and hobbies, all these are variable costs that don't have to actually be spent. So when you look into your budget and you realize that the things you're spending that are variable, what you need to do is to cut them off. If you look at the column of variable cost and you decide that I don't want to do any of this, and yet they cost me about 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000 a month, I eat out at least 3 times. Eating out is not very cheap. At least if you go out once, if you're 2 of you, minimum could be 2K, depending on where you're going. And if the children are saying, Daddy, I want pizza, Mommy, pizza, we're going to Kentucky Fried Chicken, my friend. You better have a big budget. But that's an option. It's variable. You can decide we don't want it. We can do away with it. So if you've been spending 3,000-4,000 shillings every weekend on KFC or something else, can you imagine if you said, no KFC for 3 weeks, but the 4th week we will go? You will have saved yourself 9,000 shillings a month. And if you did that every month for 12 years, 100,000 shillings. Good money to spend on holiday instead of eating your December salary in December instead of January. But it's all because it's in the budget. All right, so let's look at the benefits of a spending plan. As I said, spending plan for me is the other name that we use for budgets. What are some of the benefits of a spending plan? First of all, a spending plan can help you in an emergency. There are things we call doodads. If you've played the cash flow game, and if you haven't, one of these days, Esther, you can organize. I teach your team, collaborators, cash flow, how they can learn how to manage their money through the cash flow. There's something called doodads. Doodads are emergency things that happen. You get a puncture, you had nothing. You didn't even remember that a puncture costs 300 or 400 shillings, and you have to fix it. Or a car requires, as your son or daughter or your wife or husband hit a pole by just an accident with the car. You don't even know where to get money from to be able to to fix that car. Or you have an emergency medical attention. How would you do it if you don't have any money that has been set aside? So through budgeting, you can have what we call an emergency fund, setting aside an emergency fund. And an emergency fund is normally 3 to 6 months worth of your expenditure. For example, if your monthly expenditure is, let's say you earn 100,000 and your monthly expenditure is, say, 35,000. Because once you remove the tax man's money, which is about 25,000, you have 75. Remove 10% from 100 is now 65. All right, so you have 65,000 and you're saying my expenditure is about 50,000 per month. And I want 3 months of that is 150,000. To 6 months is 50 times 550 times 6 is 300,000. That is called an emergency fund. Money that can help you to deal with emergencies that may come into your life without you knowing. And those emergencies are always there. People prefer to go for loans. They prefer to fundraise. But if you have that amount of money through the budget, it helps you. So in your budget every month, you'll include a minimum amount to build that buffer for yourself now, and of course, in the days to come. Secondly, budgeting, because you talked about budgeting, everything must be included in the expenditure. It means through the budget, you can build a precise savings you'll need to budget into the future, right? Into the future. It's only in the budget that you can do that. You can't think into the future without a budget. You need to say, look here, I'm now 28. I should stop doing what I'm doing at 58. I've got 30 years between me. And in those 30 years, how much can I put aside? If I can put aside about 300,000 per year, by the time I hit, 10 years, 20 years, I'll be having 6 million shillings. And if I had invested it somewhere, giving me a return of 10%, maybe it will be about 10, 15 million Kenyan shillings by then. But it must be in a budget somewhere. So it helps you to plan retirement. It can help you with retirement. And of course, it helps you, how much can I contribute? Of course, you can consult with financial experts to let you know how much you need to make in retirement. And that's what we normally do in the pension administration firm that we run. We can tell you how much money you need to be able to be spending when you retire, and how much then you should start saving now, because any money saved even in 10 years has a very good return, especially if it's compounded. Again, as I said, my apologies for them. It looks like it's congested. That's not the intention. Initially, it was to come one bullet at a time, but it looks like this is the best we have now. Budgeting can help you fix spending habits, bad spending habits. Now, what's a bad spending habit? I think it's just spending money without knowing where it's going. I'll give you a quick example, even as you read what we have here. If today or every day, as you go to work, back to work, and every morning, at least you during your break, if tea is not provided in your office, or if it's your business, you may cross over to some restaurant and buy yourself a cup of tea. And assuming a cup of tea is 100 shillings, so one in the morning, one in the afternoon, that is 200 shillings. If you assume that you go to your business 22 days in a month, but for calculation's sake, let's say 20 days. So 20 days times 200 per day is 4,000 shillings. Now, assuming you had in your budget line, you had written tea, 4 o'clock tea, and 10 o'clock tea, and you find that you're spending 4,000 shillings every month, would you be very happy about it? Or would you say, blimey, 4,000 shillings, just tea? No way. I'll carry my own tea. I will forget about this issue of taking tea. 4,000 shillings, I can do something different with that. But you can only do that once you know how much or where your money goes. And that's just some of the spending habits, e.g., going for movies or just regular night outs, knee-jerk purchases, not even thinking about it. If you write it down, you realize that I don't need it. If you don't write it down, you'll want everything. For me, I love electronics. I mean, I love purchasing electronics. I mean, electronic and pens and stationery and so forth. I love those things, but do I need all of them? No. Must you have them? No. Must you have matching everything, so that you live for everybody else but yourself? Maybe you should, but it's not necessary. Um, First, but it's important to recognize it's a problem. If you don't recognize, then what's going to happen is that you may not even get out of the problem. But the beauty about a budget, it asks you to detail decisions that you want to make and how you're going to spend that money. All right? And you don't take expenditure for granted. It must be recorded. Do you want to take tea every day next month? Okay. Do you want to, how much are you going to spend on transport? Very good. How much of that money can be saved? Very good. Okay. So that's what we really need to figure out, and that's what happens, or that's what you include in your budget. So it helps you fix bad spending habits. Budgets help you control your finances. How does it do that? It puts you in charge of what you can afford and when you can afford it. What you can afford and when you can afford it. Because if, assuming you're doing a budget for the whole year, you can actually see that based on what I'm spending, look at my income, look at my expenditure, I think I see a saving of, let's say, 5,000 or 6,000 every month. You see, with the 5,000, 6,000, you can even plan for whatever you wanted to purchase. Because now you know where your money is going. You know how much you are able to control. But when you don't have a budget, that means you don't have any control over your financial life. And when you have no control over your financial life, you will end up in perpetual debt. Perpetual debt, and that perpetual debt, you will see that you'll be spending so much money that you don't have. And that's why part of our budgeting, we need to have an expenditure item called savings. Saving must be part of your budget. You need to, as you are writing down that this month I will spend money, I'll spend 20% on food, I'll spend 30%, blah, blah, blah. You must say, I must also spend 10% on saving as part of your source of the monies that you're going to build up your emergency fund, or you're going to do something else through that. Okay. So saving money, a budget gives you the knowledge and thus the authority to change that. Okay. Prioritization of the budget, you're able to prioritize. And in prioritizing, what happens? The little money that you save, because budget is also a very powerful tool to help you save money. Apart from saving 10%, which my proposal is to encourage you to at least save 10% every month. Any bonus money you get, save 50%. All right. You can also get discounts. But when you do your budget properly, you will know where your money is going. And you must track it for you to actually understand or to see where the money is. If you don't track that money, because you can say this month I'm going to spend, let's say, 4,000 on Kenya Power. Okay. And then next month, unfortunately, it goes to 5,000. You must find a way of meeting the difference. But let me surprise you that the following year, like now, this month, I think power came down a bit. You will be surprised that if it came down to 4,500 or to 3,500, the difference that you made there will disappear without you knowing. And that's why budget is important, because you're able to say every month I have set aside 4,000 shillings that I will spend on power. If it comes down to 3.5, at least I can save 500 shillings. If it goes up, it means whatever I'd saved earlier, I can be able to use it so that I compensate for the flexibility or for the changes in the power. So what you're saying here is that once you know what you're spending, you can prioritize. But that can only come if you have a spending plan. A spending plan, it helps you to spend on what you can afford. Okay. Kenya is fast. We're on a fast track lane to using what we call credit cards. They're not bad. If you can manage them, they're not bad. I have many credit cards, but I don't have debt on them. Or the debt I had, I've completed, so I'm generally debt-free of credit cards. But I can access any money I want anytime. But I would like to access what I can pay and what I can also afford. Okay, because credit cards are very good for you to buy what you cannot afford. It is. I think the credit card is the epitome of the Kiswahili saying that kukopa ni harusi, kulipa ni matanga, because you are able to get free money from the credit card. You wait until they start following you. You will ask yourself, so what was I thinking, buying all these things? But a spending plan then will help you to decide what you should buy. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Do I need to buy it? Can I buy it cash? Cash is best if you can buy anything cash, or if you've got access to funds for 45 days, like creditors give you, people with the credit cards, fantastic. You have 45 days to make that money. So within 45 days, make sure you pay, and there is zero interest that you pay then to the credit card owners. So a budget then helps you to know what can I afford, what can I not afford. A budget can improve your family life. It can. How does that happen? Living within your means is a stress reliever. The only way to know whether you're living within your means is with a spending plan. Financial stress also becomes less. The family arguments on money become less because everybody knows where money is going and what that money is doing. And of course, it also helps for you to train your children that not everything they want they can get. And if they must get it, then we must budget for it. If you've trained them to have pocket money and they've been spending money, their own pocket money, then you should also tell them that if you can spend all your money, then I can also see how you should train them to spend the money that they have. A few parents have told me how they taught their children to save money, and they've saved quite a bit of money. And sometimes they keep on telling, Dad, I want ice cream. Dad says, but you have your own money. Said, no, don't touch my money. I said, okay, neither will I touch mine. Why would you touch your money? No, it's important to have money. I said, okay. So now you understand the principle of saving. Just don't eat because you want to eat. You need to budget for it. So it's important because then it can improve family life because we are able to discuss on personal finances, and it's able to reduce family stress. So then, how do we make this budget? There are two ways of doing it. Or rather, okay, there are two ways of establishing, because you can start, first of all, by what I'm saying here. The first thing you could do is you assemble your documents, include bank statements, any credit card that you're owed, investment accounts that you have, or check leaves. Find out how much you earn on a monthly basis. Use your left column, when we began talking, we talked about the left column. Put your money there, see how much you're getting. Then you list all monthly expenses. I think at the beginning I gave you a table that looks at monthly expenses, including fixed costs, such as the rent, mortgage, car payments, insurance, all right? But also, not only fixed costs, but also put variable costs, all right? It is this detail that enables you to know what to pick and what not to pick, and to what detail. Look at your expenses, how much they are, and evaluate. Look at the difference between the expenses and how much you're earning, and see whether you have a budget deficit every month or you have a budget surplus on a monthly basis. It is that surplus which you invest. If it's a deficit, you are basically in debt, and you need to get out of debt if you are in debt. So so that's one way of doing it. The other more practical way, the way I look at it is with effect from tomorrow, which is the 21st, what you do is ensure that as you spend, you jot down. So tomorrow you leave for work, and then the first thing you say, I went through a petrol station, I put fuel 2,000. So put fuel 2,000. And you'll be recording every day the expenses that you've done on a daily basis. After 1 month, you can now consolidate all those expenditures so that you can see how much did I spend on fuel. Like I was fueling 2,000 every 3 days. So I may end up spending about 20,000 for the whole month. Or you may say I ate out I had lunch 500 shillings per day, and I spent about 500 times 20, 10,000 shillings eating out. But it's because you've kept a record, so you know the actual expenditures. That is, for me, it's a more difficult path, but it's a better path because then you have the practical experience of where your money is actually spent. You keep track of where money goes, and then you are able to make a budget. At the end of that 1 month, do it for 2 months or 3 months so that you are able to have a level of consistency from the expenditures. Once you have that level of consistencies, then you can be able to develop a very robust budget from there. All right, second last. So the question is, can this really work, Munyoncho? These things you're telling us, I have so little money. Why do I need a budget? I know all my money in my head. Yes, there is something that happens when you scribble things down. It's not the same as just putting it in your head or taking all your money, putting it in your pocket and saying, I know where the money is going. So it's not enough. In life, the people who maximize and get most benefit are those who follow principles, not just feelings and thoughts that don't align with the principle. The principle of budgeting is you need to write where the money is going. I mean, I'm sure even when you began working, I hope you had a budget. I'm not very sure whether you had a budget. But when you got married, I'm sure you sat down and agreed with your wife or your husband that, you know what, I think we need to draw a budget and see how we can spend it. And you may not be looking at it every year, but you know generally what you are spending is within whatever budget that you had started off when you got into a relationship where you got married. But can this work? Yes, it can. However, these are the conditions. One, you must know the difference between luxuries and necessities. Okay? Luxuries and necessities. Even eating more than enough is a luxury. We are encouraged, for those who are spiritual, that mature men eat not for pleasure, they eat for strength. So if you're still eating for pleasure, then I think you're still you've not matured. You need to mature, because there are people who eat, they just eat because it makes them happy. You need to transition from being happy for eating. So you'll be eating everywhere you are because you want to be more happy. You need to transition to a place of strength. Be aware of the little stuff that can add up fast. I gave an example of a coffee every day or 2 coffees per day. Hey, especially if you go to Java, coffee, 240, my friend. By the end of the month, 10 days, you'll have spent 2,400 in 1 week, in 10 days. So in 30 days, multiply that by 3. Okay, see how much money you actually spending on coffee. You say, no, thank you. I think I need to manage this differently. Not that it is bad. All we're saying is that if you need to go somewhere, and especially if you want to save fast, then you need to stop unnecessary spending. And for me, if you must go to Java, you can go once in a while, but it's not a place that you want to spend your money on. So there are those small little things that can add up very fast. Restrain yourself. It's called willpower, or moving away from knee-jerk purchases. You saw something, oh, that thing is good, I need to get it. I wouldn't be surprised that you'll be hit by what you call post-purchase disorder. You wonder what was eating you when you wanted to buy that thing. So it's always important to think twice, 3 times or 4 times before you buy anything. All right. So you don't purchase because your eyes like, you purchase because you need. you need. This life, we can't live to impress people who don't care about us. And if you evaluate yourself properly, you may discover that 80% of your life is to impress other people. Not really to live a life that you want. I want somebody to see my glasses and then be, hey, Monyoncho, those glasses are good. That's all I wanted. And I feel good. Is that living for yourself or living for other people? Ask yourself that question. You'll find that half your life probably you're living to impress others. How you dress, what you wear. You want to wear a shirt that is branded. Yeah, a white one has got a brand on it. Me, I wear plain white, you want branded. Who cares whether it is branded or not, so long as a white shirt, you know? But for you, it's because you want somebody to tell you, hey, Monyoncho, that is a great shirt. What? You'll buy another one tomorrow because of that kind of a compliment that you got. That is living for other people. You need to find out where or where you balance yourself. And then, of course, use cash rather than credit cards when you can. I said if you have got many days in your credit card and you can use your credit card properly, hey, make use of it. You don't have to work with cash everywhere. Because if I've got 45 days for any transaction I do, and I normally get paid either at the end of the week or at the end of 2 weeks or at the end of 1 month, I know I'll be able to sort out the credit card. Why not? You can use that. But if you find you're not managing your credit card properly, I think it's good you stop using them because those things will make you miserable. That is the end of my presentation. I wasn't sure whether we have any questions that I can respond to because it's about 10 minutes to the hour. I don't know, Esther, how you'd advise. Do we take questions now, or I give you my bonus slide and then you can take questions?
No, you can just continue. You have some more. I'm seeing.
I have a bonus
Please
slide
do.
only.
Please
Okay.
do. Please.
All right. This is a bonus. Esther didn't ask me to talk about it, but because of the field I'm in, these are some of the good habits you may want to think about and develop to help you be in a financially stable position and probably financial success. Financial success for me is when money works for you, that you work hard for your money and you then let money work hard for you later in life. You don't want to work for the rest of your life for money, because then the day you stop working for money, misery will set in because there'll be no more. People will tell you you're too old to work for us. I think you need to exit, or times have changed, you need to exit. But if I can make enough money and tell money work for me, I think then I will have achieved a level of financial success. Number one, make savings automatic. All of us are saving, but it's not automatic. It must pass through my hands. My father used to tell me that money speaks, and I discovered for me, the best language it speaks is goodbye. So if I have money in my hands, then if I'm not careful, I'll be hearing goodbye, 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 goodbye. So I have to hold on to that money so that it doesn't tell me goodbye. So money speaks. So if you don't make it automatic, just get to the bank, tell them to give you a savings account, tell them every month they can deduct 10% from your current account and they can save it. Make it automatic. Number two, control impulse buying. I've talked about that. Based on need, please purchase on need. Purchase on need. Not because it's good, looks good, feels good. No, on a need basis. Okay? And I'm not saying that you don't buy what you want. All I'm saying that if you don't have money to buy what you want, then you start with what you need until what you need is met. Then from there, you can go to what you want because you can put it as part of your budget. Number three, evaluate expenses and track them. I talked about that. Look at what you're spending your money on. Track it. I had thrown in that one. I use the envelope system. If you don't have, you can't open many what are they called? A few accounts, okay? Not many accounts. I think I have about 3 or 4, but if you don't need those 3 accounts, what you do, you can use what you call envelope financial system, where you have 4 envelopes or 6 envelopes or 7 envelopes, depending on the expenditure. So when the month ends, if it is water, take 1,000 for water, 1 envelope. Electricity is 2,000, take 2,000 an envelope, work a candle. If food is 10,000, you put 10,000 an envelope, so that every month, whenever you need anything, you just go to the envelope and pick the money that is there. That is called envelope system of tracking your own expenses. Invest in your future. Start now. Don't start. I started quite late, so I may not be the level of a millionaire I wanted. It's because I began at 41. 41, I had no idea what was going on in my life. I don't know what kind of way I grew in. 41, and guys were making money, but I wasn't sure what was going on, what could happen to me. But God had mercy on me, and I learned a few things. I learned a bit of information, and you can start that today. Don't have to start later. I mean, today, if you started to invest, you can invest today. You can get a bond that is going for 16, 17, 18%, and you can lock that bond for the next 10 years. You'll be shocked at how much money you're going to make because you are actually investing in your future. Think about your retirement. Okay, if you will retire, I mean, some of you we may never retire because retirement is defined as doing what you like doing. So it doesn't matter whether I'm old or young, I still do what I like doing. That's it. You know, there's no retirement for me. You know, if real estate is retirement for you, then you'll be in real estate all the rest of your life. So some of us may not retire. Some of us may just change careers or change times for doing different things. But think about your future earlier than later. Keep your family secure through an emergency fund. I told you about how keep an emergency fund. Families are there's volatility a lot. You know, sicknesses come, accidents come. I would advise all of us to at least have a medical cover, however small. Make sure you have a domestic cover, however small, is very important. You know, those are two insurances that can protect and preserve whatever you have actually invested and bought. Eliminate and avoid debt as much as possible. Avoid what we call consumer debt. There is debt which you can invest in. I mean, I can borrow money from the SACCO and build a house, and that house can be rented for. That is not a consumer debt. Consumer debt is borrowing money to buy a bed to put in a bedroom, which nobody even knows. Since we live for people, will you tell somebody what kind of bed you're living in or sleeping on in your bedroom? So what's the problem? Why do you need to tell people about your 5-inch heavy duty or 6x6 heavy duty? You know, hey, nobody cares about that. Find some pillow. You can sleep on the floor until you save enough money to buy a nice bed. All right, that's called a consumer debt. You're just buying or you're sleeping on the money that you borrowed. You should sleep on your own money. All right. So borrow money to invest, borrow money to make money. Don't borrow money to give towards burial expenses. You know, that is not a very good idea to do that. Pay bills immediately or automatically. Avoid fines. Avoid fines. Avoid fines as much as possible. If you're paying tax, pay tax on time. I've been a victim of this until now. I don't like waiting. Every time I have to pay my tax every month, I pay on time. Otherwise, I pay a fine of 2,000 plus penalty. Why should I give KRA additional money or county council or whoever it is? Why? Pay immediately or even automatically. Read a lot about personal finances that can help you. And of course, grow your net worth. Grow your net worth. What is my net worth? Is my assets less liabilities. Liabilities is what I owe that I must pay. Assets is what I have. All right, what I own, the house that I have, so long as I've paid for it, it's not under the name of the bank. It is under my name. It's an asset for you. Your vehicle is an asset, so long as it's not on loan. So look at the assets versus liabilities. What do I owe people? The bigger the net worth, that means assets minus liabilities, the bigger it is, the better it is for you into the future. And that was my last shot. Esther, back to you.
Wow. Oh, Ken, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm still smiling here and saying, you know, I have learned, I think through experience. Nowadays, I'll go to a place, I want to buy something. I look at it twice. Actually, look at it, it looks good. And then I ask myself, do I need it? I drop it and leave. So at least
Very good.
I'm growing up.
Very good.
Yeah, because you have to ask yourself, do you really need it? You know, And the people selling to you will keep saying, yes, Kari, it looks nice on you. Looks nice on you. This one will go with this. So you're thinking, do I really need it? And you say no and leave it. And that's perfect. I'm looking at what you've given us with effect from tomorrow. We jot down what we do. This habit of talk to us about, someone asked me, Rini, is it this thing of burial, wedding? I don't know, you are in 100 WhatsApp groups.
Yes.
Talk to us about that. Talk to us.
Well, Esther, we are as a community, and of course, we are expected to help, in many things. But part of your budget, what you should have on your budget is what we call a benevolent fund, what you can afford. All right. Don't borrow to give. You give. Blessings are attached to what you're able to personally give, not what you borrow to give. And again, of course, motive comes in, but again, that's later on. We can look at that differently. But motive is important to give because it's important to give, not because it's a show. Okay. However, in giving, you can prioritize. You can say, I can only give 5,000 shillings a month. That's all I have. I don't have anything else. I've done my budget and I see I can spare some 5K. Out of the 5K, you can decide what's the priority for you. Is it wedding you want to give to people to pay dowry? Is it medical expenses? Is it school fees? Is it burials? Because those are the four communal things that we all do. Okay, so you decide, say for me, the priority is education. So 50% of my benevolent fund will go to education. And it doesn't have to go to one person. I mean, out of 2,000, out of 5,000, I have got 2,500 is going to education. So that could be 5 people. You can get 5 people, you can give them 500 each, 500, somebody doing fundraising, give them 500, 500, or give one person 1,000. But you know that 50% of my money is going to support education. Then the next, you can say, next is medical. Another 30% going to medical. That's 80%, right? And then you can say 10% can go to weddings and another 5%, or you can say what is left. If you take 50 and that is 80, you can say 15% can go to medical and 5% can go to burials. Because people always get buried, whether you contribute or not, they get buried. Sometimes you ask yourself, do I have to contribute? But you see, everybody does, so you can do that. So for me, that's how you want to look at it. That set aside an amount of money and prioritize where it should go. If it's not spent that month, bless the Lord. Next month you have 10,000 to give, which is good. Or you can save that money. Esther.
Good. I see.
I'm seeing a question here.
Yes.
Where can someone save for
a
short-term emergency? 3 to 6 months. 6 months. Okay. There are two ways you can, 2 or 3 ways you can do that. If you have a discipline, you can save and put in your own account. But I think many of us don't have that discipline because rainy days are every day for us. So there's no rainy day anyway. So even an emergency doesn't make sense. What you could do is you can take your 3 to 6 months and invest it in a money market fund, because money market fund, once you've invested in it, for example, we have a money market fund at Nwealth Financial Services. So you can bring in your money there. Minimum is 5,000, and you can say my emergency fund will be in the money market, so that my emergency fund of 300,000 sits there. If I need 300,000, you can get it within 48 hours. And an emergency fund is not that you must get money immediately, but you can access money. So you can actually put your money in the money market fund, and it can be making money for you there instead of just sitting it in an account that doesn't have an interest. So you could easily do that. I mean, most of my emergency fund is in the money market and in the capital markets. So in case I need money, I can access it within 24 hours to 48 hours. So that's where you can put your money, Florence.
On that note, Ken, talk to us about Nwealth.
Nwealth, thank you. Nwealth is the business we began in 2011, Nwealth the Financial Services, and our intention was to offer pension private pensioners, individuals who would like to actually build their own pension, one, and then also be able to serve as a pension administrator for companies that didn't have in-house pension, in-house systems. So currently we are in our, since 2012 to now, we're in our 13th year. We serve over 500 clients. We are in 3 countries. We are in Malaysia, we are in Mauritius and Uganda. And we now so far have 3 companies. The first one is the one of Enwealth, which does pension alone, pension services. We have one that is a brokerage, is Enwealth Brokerage Services. And then number 3, we've got Enwealth Capital. Enwealth Capital is where we've got the money market fund, we've got the balanced fund, we've got the unit trusts that our customers can be able to invest through those unit trusts. We also have our Enwealth Foundation, which is there to address issues of social support in the marketplace. So we even have Enwealth dollar account. Should you want to invest in the dollar account, you are welcome. If you think the shilling is fluctuating too much, but you want to put your money, you save your money in dollar amounts, you are more welcome to be able to do so. So Enwealth is available for you. It's run by myself and a colleague of mine. We are 2 owners of the business, and we're grateful that God has helped us to be where we are. So you're welcome to invest at Enwealth. Esther?
Wow. Thank you. I think our next session, definitely, Ken, you talk to us about pension and money market.
Yes, I will gladly do that.
I think we need to know.
No, definitely. Gladly do that.
It will be important for us to know where to save.
Yes. I'll be happy to do that.
Go on, Ken. Yeah.
No, I'm saying we'll be more than happy to do that. We can be able to see what kind of plan you need, what you plan you have. Those who are interested, we can calculate for you what you require. There's something called income replacement. How can you replace your income at what age? And of course, we've got many other products that we can be able to share with you under the pension arrangement. And that, of course, when we have some time, we can discuss how that can be done. Yeah. How to get in touch with Ken? You can get unless you want I can send you, or Esther can give you my email, kenmonyoncho@gmail.com. That's it. You'll be able to get me. Unless you want to call me, I can still give you my number so that you send me a message first. kenmonyoncho@gmail.com. Okay, and that's my number. Excellent. Just send me a message, tell me I was in the meeting, and kindly help me answer the following questions. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Good. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for your time. I know we can talk. The investments bit, Ken, we really need to talk. We need to talk. I know in Kenya, everyone is saying there's no money to save, Ken.
I will show you.
You'll show.
I'll show you where to get the money to save.
You'll show us where to get the money to save. Good.
Yes. Maybe in the next cycle, you can just invite me to show you how to save money for investment, and we'll go around it. And one of the tools, we just use this tool here, which is a budgeting tool. But if you can get your budget sorted out in the next meeting, I can be happy to take you to the next level. But we must do this first, so that we know that we are growing. So if the team is able to do their budgets, they're able to move forward. I think I can be able to help you now move to the next level, how you can mobilize your own resources, and then where you can invest those resources.
Wow. Thank you. We'll plan with you, Ken, and maybe walk the journey with the team until at least we can see some good results. I think it's important because sometimes we do budgeting sessions and then we leave them. They don't know what to do next. I think it's important if we can walk the journey with them. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending. Ken, thank you for your time. God bless you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anna. Have a
Thanks
good
for
night, everyone.